Hey, how's everybody doing today? I've got Josh as usual, and today we're talking about the 5 stages of violent crime. A good topic. I think people really
Mhm.
need to be aware of all of this stuff and something that separates us here at rmsdf.com and ClearSky.Training, our online portal, and what we've come to call the collective. Because I think, I was mad the other day at Joe Rogan again. Uh,
Really?
for
Shocking.
I love it. No, I mean, I agree with him so much, and I agree with his BJJ, but I think it's missing a component of it. And he actually said something on the Amanda Knox podcast towards the end. I think it's in the last 30 minutes, if you guys want to check it out, that Krav Maga is legit, but then he goes down this rabbit hole of you need to train against trained fighters and Krav Maga, basic people aren't trying to get in the UFC. If you're in a UFC gym, that's freaking awesome,
Yeah.
to train that. We're always trying to get better, improve. What we do at RMSDF is, really MMA. It's evolved so much and we add so much. We train with our buddy Eric, who's a black belt in BJJ every week.
Hmm.
Um, it is great stuff. We always try to innovate. And what's the big thing out there? What's somebody going to attack you with? But he actually said in there, I'm fully confident somebody's in my house unarmed. I went,
Hmm.
exactly. If you're not training against weapons, you're not training self defense. And this is such a huge part of it. If you
Yeah.
don't have the mindset, as BJJ's phenomenal at controlling people on the ground, but if you forget about something and you forget about those hands and they're going for a weapon and your move, you're not worried about somebody punching you. Well, crap. Like if somebody goes for a knife there, that's a huge issue.
Yeah.
And that's what, we've got to be everything in Krav Maga. It's, you got to protect your family.
Mhm.
There's just so much, like, just like we talked about in this whole series in the Clear Sky training, that the whole system, there's so much to it. So check out last week's. We're building on this thing as we go, and today we're talking about 5 stages of violent crime. And,
Mhm.
I think I said that story to somebody in the gym, that I was frustrated with that. And, hey, here we're trying to be swimmers. We're trying to be basketball players. We're trying to be everything. Um, you've got to be every martial art. And you got to play the odds. What basic Krav Maga is doing is playing the odds of the untrained fighter coming at you. Am I concerned, like Rogan says, of like train for the killer? Absolutely. But generally, people like that are nice. you know, they're not
Yeah.
looking for it. Occasionally the beginner martial artists might want to test their skills no matter what age and feel like they would and provoke something. And
Mhm.
we talk about stuff like that, of you provoking the fight and you're really not in a self-defense situation. You're in a mutual fight. So all things to consider,
Mhm.
but it's tough. What do you think of that conversation?
Well, we got to train people to defend themselves. So we get a varying age range from little kids to people in their 80s, right?
Yeah.
And we can't have somebody in their 80s going into an MMA style fight and expect to be able to come out on top. We have to give them tools they can use the moment they leave that gym, right? We got to give them tools they can use as they continue to train, right?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it's
it's
to keep me alive, not to beat up my opponent.
yeah, I mean, it's a little off there, maybe, if I followed you correctly. Um, we've got to give those students, the get out of there, like the
Yeah.
ability to like not stay in that fight. Like most competition fights are, you're not really training to get away from the person. You're trying to finish that fight and win that fight or score a point on a move. So it's kind of tough, and I say it all the time. If you just specialize, if you're just going to box a boxer, that's stupid. Like they're going to win, all things equal, or not even equal. Like that you're fighting this boxer and you're going to play their game. Somebody just said, it was Big Jordy said, yeah, I was trying to knife fight Tim, one of our old coaches that moved to Texas. he was doing some knife fighting system, I forget which, and he's like, I got caught up in that, and I'm trying to knife fight him, and he's like, I just started doing Krav Maga, and I got stabbed way less. Like you said, you're gonna get cut. Many times, like I really don't want to be in a knife fight. I don't want to be in a gunfight. I don't want to be in a fist fight. But when he started not playing the knife fighter's game, he did much better. And that's, kind of one of my things with, our Clear Sky Defender knife. Hold on. You're going to, before Josh gives me a hard time, I'm in charge. Wherever the Clear Sky Training is, I can't even find it.
I can't find it.
You can find the link off of here. The shop is off of there. You can find the shop there.
We can't show you the real knife because they'll ban us. I don't know why.
They will?
So we can just tell you. Yeah. So you can show a picture of the knife, but you can't hold the knife. That is the rules.
I'm so sick of this crap.
So if you're to hold it up like this, they'd ban the video. But if you were to bring up a picture, and because then it's a product, I don't know. It's so weird how they do it.
I'm sick of their crap. I'm sick of all this stuff. Shop.ClearSky.Training if you're listening on the audio only. If you're not listening, checking us out on YouTube or anywhere else we post this thing. He had kind of two different fighting styles.
Who?
Tim, with a knife in hand and your regular Krav Maga or your fight, whatever fight system you're doing. The way the Clear Sky Defender, I punch the same exact way as I do regularly. My fighting style doesn't change, and my mindset doesn't change. That I'm trying to end this fight and get out of here. I'm not trying to knife fight you and look for an opportunity. I'm trying to get out of there or be aggressive and get in and close the distance, control that weapon and control them.
Yeah. So, and MMA fighters don't start from the ambush. I mean, the refs start like there's an ambush. There's somebody trying to do harm to you without you expecting it. And
it's not a set date. It's not even like, I think we said it on one recent podcast. It's not you're not showing up to, noon class. It's unexpected. When you go even in noon class, your mindset is, okay, I'm heading to class and, I don't know what today's going to bring. Hard training, technique training. I don't know. So that's even just coming to class is a known, never mind preparing for a tournament type of situation. Yeah. So, you're getting ambushed. And I think I was saying it to the little kids. I don't know what class I said it to. I'm like, maybe you just did a whole bunch of burpees and this and that, and you're super sore. Where the kids looked at me like, oh, man.
Right, oh, man.
That could happen. That could happen.
So what are the five?
What's that? What are we? Yeah, we need to get into it.
What are the 5 stages of violent crime? Because I try to tell this to people a lot because people never even see it. I know we post it sometimes, but I ask the question, and even the random people off the street, they have no idea, right? I mean, if you come to our school, we'll give you these answers.
Yeah, it's all part of the portal, but and just if you want my personal mindset on crushing yourself, I'm generally crushing myself on a Friday or Saturday, and I plan on not going out and doing anything social. It's not a date night. I'm not going to protect my wife. I'm going to be on the couch,
hiding.
That's
what I do. I just hide in my little cave.
Oh man, you're so funny.
I wish.
And guys, I know his wife quite well. He does have a cave, and that's where he has to go.
That's where I'm told to go.
Yeah, where I'm told to go. My wife makes me go to my cave.
Go, get away from me. I'm kidding. She loves me, I think.
I think she does.
I'm pretty sure.
If not, she would have killed you a long time ago.
Yeah.
She is a pharmacist. I'm pretty sure she could concoct something.
She knows what I'm allergic to too, so it's
gosh.
Yeah,
you're really vulnerable there.
It is. It is.
So we got it up on the screen. 5 stages of violent crime: intent, interview, positioning, attack, escape, and exploit. So we can kind of unpack these as we go. The big thing, you've got to see this stuff. Somebody just said to me, hey, scenarios, you're walking out into the parking lot after work, and they were acting like that and going, oh no, I'm not going to kind of have my mindset of in class. I think I'm on my phone way too much, or I'm checking my stuff because I've been at work and I'm checking my text messages or whatever. And, I came out like kind of pretending I was on my phone, which you've got to have your mindset. That's your
Mhm.
first weapon. You got to see it, and able to stop it early so you can survive a violent situation and see that person coming. So, intent, that's something that you're not going to see, right? Yeah, I don't know that somebody's got intent to attack me sitting in a car or like out of sight and they're just waiting for somebody to pass by that, is in a blind spot or, a gazillion other things. You
And it's
don't know that, but that person has whatever intent if they're just going to ambush you or are they going to come up and, test you. So
Mhm.
that's, kind of blends right into the interview. But violent people, they think of all sorts of crazy things, from, I just heard, um, my mother-in-law say last night, I forget who or friends, somebody, she knew that they were in a VRBO and two people were trying to break in
Oh,
at
no.
two different locations. So you just never know
Yeah.
what the intent is. It just boom, that's pretty much an attack on your house right away. They're not interviewing
Yeah.
you. They're not positioning, even though they kind of did because they were coming in at 2 points of entry, or let's see who gets in first.
Mhm.
But if they were smart, 2 points of entry would be really good because I can see you thinking, going, damn it, check your
Yeah.
six.
Now I've got
You hear a big commotion at the front door, and there's somebody coming in the back door or side window, the basement window. So, these people, do stuff and they get caught and they get smarter and smarter. And, luckily a lot of them aren't too smart. But
so as a
anything
well, I was
I'm
going to
missing
say,
on intent?
if I'm training it as a training partner, can I kind of create body language in a scenario to show intent? Because I think that's the hardest part is trying to show people how those who want to do harm start to organize their thoughts and their body language. And you
Yeah.
can see intent growing in somebody. And I think that goes from intent into interview. But the idea is if they're looking at you, they're starting to come with that intent to attack. They're deciding there's the choice, right? It's A or B. Am I doing it? Yes or no? And then they decide to, and then you can see the intent happen. And as your training partner, I want to try to, like, how do I do that? Do I stand in the corner and just start staring at you? I start
Yeah.
just trying to size you up and then taking it slow. Because I know there's sometimes we all just want to get into the action and defend ourselves, but I think we
Oh,
need to train that.
acting is acting is you know
Yeah.
is really hard. To be a good role player takes a lot of skill. It takes a certain person. But yeah, I mean, I was doing that yesterday. I mean, it was into the whole interview um, stage that I was just staring at somebody. Actually, it was a little bit more because I had attacked them from behind. They escaped. They were a little amped up in a concealed carry holder, and they almost went for the draw.
Ooh,
Almost. They just started
yeah.
to clear their shirt, right? They were just, you couldn't see the weapon, but you could see that he had some intent to go to his weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And as the attacker now with 10 feet between us, I just started staring at him and
Mm-hmm.
staring like at his pocket,
Wow.
and just circling him a little bit, getting like, and I was like, what do you got, man?
Mm-hmm.
What are you trying? You were trying to grab something? And and just that alone, like, oh no, like letting him role play that. But you're just staring at him, or just into the interview, that they're going to test you. They're going to look for weaknesses. They're going to start something like, you got a problem. The bump into somebody. We do that a lot with the person when their eyes are closed. Just bumping them, be like,
Mm-hmm.
whoa, hey man, you got a problem, or like, you know anything like that. Somebody just did that to me yesterday. It's like, whoa, hey, sorry, my fault. I didn't mean to bump into you. I was in your way. I didn't mean that. And they're, of course, trying to be a little bit more the bad guy. And I'm like, oh, hey, and then hand that went behind the back, and boom, out comes a knife, and you're into knife defense right
Yeah.
there. So, um, and versus running, because right at that point, that interview position is you're
Well,
vulnerable. Like, right.
yeah.
I mean, this started in, basically on the X. We were, 0 to 5 feet. And I'm going, hey man, sorry. And I'm just picturing myself like, we had to buy a new mouse for the gym computer. And, you know, I was just at Walmart and I bumped into somebody, and you're
Mhm.
like, hey man, sorry. You're not gonna boom get 15 feet of distance. You're in there and that stuff happens. And he
Yeah.
had intent to, pull a knife.
And it's
Um,
Walmart. You never know what you're going to get.
yeah, you never know.
You never know.
But in that interview stage, they're looking for insecurities or lack of
Yeah.
confidence. Are you isolated?
The look in
They're
your
looking for
face.
that. um, and that that's a huge point to be able to stop it, to recognize that somebody
Yeah.
is interviewing me, they're getting close, they're asking for the almighty, you got a light or you got the time, anything that they could be, getting close, asking directions, anything that seems really normal, that
Mhm.
somebody might ask something to you, like, hey, where's the nearest, have you seen an Uber? Like, I'm looking for,
Right.
all sorts of things people could say. Like, I'm looking for my Uber ride. Man, you seen a red Tesla?
Hmm.
I don't know why they're all in Teslas. I'm just
I
kidding.
don't know. Maybe it's they're having the car do the
It's
driving
because
for
Uber doesn't pay them jack crap, so they think they're saving some money on
them.
gas and doing the electric. Because I really think those poor people don't make that much money because Uber sucks. All these big giant corporations. What's the other one
Yeah.
I was mad at? That was another mad at
I
some other
know.
big corporation the other day.
I know. You were yelling at him like, ah, you're soapboxing. That interview kind of scares me because you can get caught up in it. And if you're busy talking, you can't do two things at once. So you're either busy talking or you're busy doing something else.
Yeah,
So I have a
and
tendency to shut up. Like I just get real quiet and I just say, stop, please don't hurt me. Stuff like that. Because I can't do
yeah,
two
I
things at
can't
once,
help
man.
you.
Yeah.
I like, hey, I don't think I can help you. Anything like that. Um, I'm late. Anything to kind of disengage that's not challenging.
Mhm.
Is stuff you need to practice with somebody that's clearly coming up. Even just the guy like, hey, you got a problem? You looking at my wife? That's what you're looking at her. Like, whoa,
Oh,
okay, whoa,
oh,
this guy's
whoa.
interviewing me right now. He's
Yeah,
testing me,
right.
um, whatever type of thing. It's all hard, you know.
Yeah. It's a fine line between trying to be like trying to not be meek, but also not be such a cocky guy that you start challenging him, right? Or insulting just with your body language or the things you're saying to him. Because my mouth gets me into a lot of trouble, man. If you didn't know, like a lot of trouble,
Yeah.
it really does. So
Yep. It's tough. Um, yeah, interview is a tough one because people don't realize that, number three, that they're moving into position. The
yeah,
attacker's moving into a position of advantage. They're looking to strike, grab, whatever it may be. They're cutting you off. They're trying to box you into a corner, all
mhm,
different things that
mhm,
you might not even realize it. They might be positioning you or flanking you or getting you into position where a second attacker could
yeah,
ambush you, and keeping your line of sight. That's really hard stuff because, you're so focused on that, immediate, potential threat or uneasiness that this person is an unknown. So
yeah.
really tough when they
Threat
blend right
interference.
there.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
scary too. A two-person, someone running interference, trying to push you into a corner to somebody else. Nightmare fuel. Nightmare fuel.
yeah,
Just nightmare fuel.
yeah, yeah. It's really tough. We get a lot of people when somebody's positioning them that sometimes they turn their back
I
on
know.
them,
I used to do
you
that a
know,
lot.
on the X, like, oh man, you just made it really easy for them by turning your back to them. And,
Mhm,
it's just showing confidence there too. Sometimes it's just the look of what you're doing,
mhm.
like, hey, I'm not challenging you, but I recognize that you're over there. Like,
Yeah.
how's it going, guys? I mean, I did that, early on. I remember with a childhood friend walking in Providence, Rhode Island, and going past a biker bar, and she was conditioned to go around and go on the other side of the street. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Those guys look, they're fine. They're just freaking hanging out.
Mhm.
They're on their bikes. It's, typical kind of scene. And I was like, I think I, head nodded one guy. I was like, hey, and just acknowledge him, not challenge him, just walking past. You're here. I'm not going to act meek in front of you, kind of, or scared or timid. And so, but she made that like, oh, we walked right past those people. Like you weren't afraid. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like people can feel that you're
it's
intimidated.
like I don't want to fight them. They
Yeah,
don't seem challenging. They don't
yeah,
seem like they're, looking for a fight for the next guy walking by. They're just, I mean, they could have been accountants.
right. You
Probably.
don't know.
I mean, at that time, and it was quite a number of years ago that they might have been real bikers. Providence, Rhode Island, isn't the safest place. It's a lot nicer now, but like every place,
There's
they've got
dangers.
their sketchy area.
Yeah, I
So
mean, I've never been to a place that doesn't have a sketchy town area or whole city. Right.
yeah, the whole city.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking about Mike from noon class about growing up in Tennessee and how it's so different and just being in different areas, how people are and culture and the potential threats in different areas
Yeah.
being
For real.
different. So, yeah, I mean, if you don't recognize that somebody's flanking you, that's just 101, getting conditioned to that or getting close to you. The amount of people that when you are interviewing them, let you get closer and closer and closer, and they don't even do a simple, hey, stay back.
Mhm.
And, that's one of the little short videos I think I did. People have this is what I would do. But if you're not training it on a regular
Right.
basis,
You wouldn't do it.
everything cerebral is out the window because you didn't practice it. It's all well and good to think of what you're going to do, but man, doing it live is such a different thing.
It's valuable. It's very valuable because
So,
you don't know if you're actually going to do it until you have to do it because you're going to revert to something that you don't even know that you're doing under
yeah,
stress. So come in and train it. Dang it.
come in and train. Yeah, find a gym. Find a gym that's that fits your criteria of what you're looking for. Because I think a lot of people, and that's why I feel like I fight the narrative with Rogan and Jocko that they're just BJJ, BJJ, and most of those gyms are competition. It's great. Karate's great. Boxing's great. Right? Like there's so many great things, but what we try to do in Krav Maga is self-defense. It's everything's built from that perspective, not a competition move. We'll borrow. There's plenty of great things out there, but
Sure.
the mindset is always self-defense. It's always,
Yeah.
I didn't want this. It's not doing a move to somebody that was mutually agreed upon to, even slap bump and do a free roll or free stand up sparring in a class. It's totally different when you're out on the street
Yeah.
than those, that context, which I think a lot of martial artists don't wrap their head around. There's great stuff out there, guys, but
Yeah.
it's what is your goal? What do you want out of training? And I just continually go back. I just want to be safe.
I want to go home safe. We stick to the crowd principle on it. Go home safe. Go home safe.
Yeah. And then we're at number 4, attack. And now you are at that. Everything, if you're behind the 8 ball and you let somebody get close to you and now, they're pulling a knife. Now they're doing a bear hug. Now they're trying to grab you and take you to the ground to assault you on the ground. Now it's training. Now it's like everything we do in class, really.
Learning not to panic.
You better be overwhelmingly aggressive and try to neutralize that threat. I say to women, you better be hitting a little bit more. That one extra one is going to be looked upon more favorable than the guy that did one more punch. Like, couldn't you get away? The women going, he was bigger. And, you stomp on him, you punch him, you do one more thing, two more things. You're going to get a bit more grace from law enforcement and the legal side. And, if you had to go all the way to some type of jury trial, people are that jury's going to sympathize more with the female getting attacked, especially, when it's a male attacking versus two guys. And like, couldn't you gotten away right there? Could you have gotten away? Did you need to stomp on his head one more time?
Right. That's murder. That's what they want to do.
Like,
They
could
want to
you have
charge you.
disengaged? Could you get away? So, and I'm sure the civil trial will be really fun.
Oh my
So
gosh.
if it gets that far.
Yeah. Legal into civil. I mean, there's so many what if battles after you've defended yourself, which is so crazy that we live in a system that makes it tough for you to want to defend yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on to number 5, because I think we unpack number 4 all the time. Escape and exploit. Actually, I told the teenagers because they were in a really good talkative mood on Tuesday, I think it was.
They were?
Tuesday or Wednesday. No, they weren't talking at all.
Okay. I was like, hold on. No, they don't talk.
I was like, okay, and exploit, you guys know what that means? And they're just staring at me. And I'm like, okay,
Silent.
if you don't, you might want to Google that stuff.
Right. GTS. Google that stuff.
Like, you guys are so talkative. Because we're breaking this down. We had a new teenager in class. We hadn't broken this down. Just kind of going like, this is what we do. And hey, guys, you could be held legally responsible for something, or they're going to sue your parents. I mean, I had a friend's younger brother do a lot of damage to somebody's teeth, and and
they sued.
They came after him and his family for that. I mean, I feel like it was probably like 80 whatever, 89 somewhere around there. I want to say it was like $5,000 then. It's probably 20.
I know. Could you imagine? Holy smokes.
Yeah.
You're responsible for, but that's why we train self-defense, not kick their ass because you can.
Yeah. I mean, he really ambushed the guy.
Yeah. And we got to get the heck away, man. Like I want to be able to finish and get out. And that's what's really been grabbing me lately is like, you got to finish that or you got to get the heck out of there because something's just going to continue to escalate. And if they feel like they're in a position, they may pull a weapon. They may put me in something that knocks me unconscious. You know what I mean? I've got to get the heck out of there. I can't continue to take risk every moment I'm in that fight. So either end it or get out. I'm end it by knock them out, submit them or something. I don't know. Like there's so many what ifs. It's an ambush, so I got to get the heck out of there, right?
Yeah. I mean, that fight, I mean, it was in the hallway of the school and, I'm pretty sure it involved a girl and he had the intent that he was going to, mess this kid up. And it was just boom, explode. I mean, he didn't recognize it. You could see the intent, but this kid, 16, 17 did not, recognize those scenes. Like you better freaking run while you have the chance, or you need to hit this kid because he just exploded on him and punched him. I don't know how many times in the face, and
really
he was down. Yeah, it was bad.
And that's an ambush attack.
I mean, he came straight at him, but
yeah,
it had a quick interview and boom, there was no positioning was I'm getting closer to you and boom, I'm just going to pounce on you.
Yeah, I guess that interview can be super quick, huh? Because it's just like,
yeah.
Hey,
I mean, especially the intent is, someday we might overlap. Like there is no interview. They're just ambushing you, right? They have the intent and now boom, they kind of go right into, positioning as they ambushed you. They took an angle. They just freaking came, and there's no time component to any of these things, right? I mean, it could be a second.
The intent could happen at home before they even get to you. Like they already intend to kick your butt. So they just show up and go. And there's so many what ifs.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing, I mean, they're going to try to take whatever they wanted off from you, whatever it may be, what if it's an abduction, a rape scenario, they're going to exploit you. It's
Yeah.
it's bad when it gets to that point. It's bad when it gets to that point.
Yeah.
Um, you got to read these signs. Try to de-escalate as best you can. Right, create distance, call for help.
Yeah.
Prepare mentally.
Yeah.
Even like, oh man, here we go.
Right.
Um,
But training
yeah,
helps with that. I mean, once you like, it really does help. There used to be this genuine worry that like I'm going to get my butt kicked after spending a few years with you now. Like I still worried about getting my butt kicked, but at least I could do something. I could be prepared in that moment. Like I got something to go to now that I didn't have before.
yeah,
And you knew I didn't have much. Like there was nothing there to go to. You know what I mean? You're like,
yep,
you obviously need my help.
yep. Um, but as most guys, you feel like I can do something, but
Mhm.
man, you got to train. Like guys are really bad at that,
Yeah.
especially thinking that they can defend themselves or their family, and they've got just no skill whatsoever. And I don't care what you know.
Mhm. You
Um,
got to train it.
as I've said, so you can understand these things, but you've got to do them physically. It's great. I mean, you can understand it. I mean, you could be a good coach, right? You might not be the best baseball player, but you understand all the concepts and you might be able to tell them. But those people still have to go out there and get the reps. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
you're stepping onto the mound and, stepping up to bat against that world class pitcher.
The flip side of this is that the bad guy usually has done this before. So they've unfortunately trained themselves on how to attack people. They create an expectation. They know what they're going to do because they've done it before. And that's the problem with the bad guy is that when they do come after you and you haven't prepared for an attack like that, they're already ahead of the game.
Yeah.
And they have a plan going into it. So you've got to be able to respond with a plan. And Nick, he's one of my mentors, one of the guys that teaches us. He goes, they have a plan A, and that's usually it on those bad guys, and once it goes outside their what they know,
Scope. Yep.
scope, yeah, I don't think it was schema, but
Yeah.
it would be like scope, then they bail on it, right? And they've got nothing else unless they're really, they're a fighter themselves, but they practice that coming after you. They've done it before, right? They might even be comfortable attacking you and trying to take your stuff, which is
Yeah.
scary.
If something breaks that cycle,
Yeah,
from what they've done and had success on, whoa,
right.
they're bailing out, you know. Um, you know, Knowing these stages is huge pre-fight, that mental, like even just like, okay, here we go. It
Hmm.
could be just that,
Hmm.
hey, stay back. But in my head, I'm going, I'm in trouble. Like this could go like here we go. Here
I'm
we
ready to
go.
go.
Hey, I'm
It's gonna
ready to
happen. We're
go.
going.
If you got that second, that can really help. But,
Mhm.
and then post-fight, be aware of your legal rights. I always, be first to call 911. Don't let them call 911.
Mm-mm.
Oh, what? The bad guy's going to call 911?
You
Sure,
betcha.
they're hurt. You
Hmm.
did something to them. They're going to say they got jumped by this person.
They're gonna
Do
lie.
medical, emotional, right? Getting attacked, is really traumatic for people. That's, huge, knowing your rights legally and, getting help, talking to people if you've been attacked. A lot of people seek, self-defense after they've been attacked, and it's a good
Yeah.
outlet of now. At least they have the confidence, just like you said just a moment ago. Like when I came in, I had nothing. Now I feel a lot better. But that whole medical component of it is huge. I mean,
Yeah.
I was saying that actually to Big Jordy. We had a scenario the other day or just last night that um, I was justified to use lethal force because he had a gun. I believe
Mm.
we're at in the class. We did a bunch of scenarios last night, but that position, he might have had a knife. I can't remember, but it had gone bad, and I'm pretty much on his back, and I'm trying to control him in a gift wrap kind of position, and trying to control that knife in his hand, and with one hand, and going for a draw of my knife on the other side, and I'm just cutting his arm, going cut his arm, cut his arm. This guy's not going to be able to use this arm
Yeah, when
with
you're
that
doing that.
knife in it. I'm going to disable this thing. I'm simulating, like I'm cutting the
Wow.
tricep, I'm cutting the bicep, I'm
Oh,
cutting, across the forearm in here, and I'm trying to control him. And he's still fighting because he might not be aware I was actually cutting him.
cutting on him.
Um,
Yeah.
because I was behind him. And I was saying to him, like, hey, man, you're cut. Like, come on, man, we'll get you medical. We're going to get you medical. Just stop fighting. You're bleeding, like
Yeah.
giving him
Your
to
arm
it.
stopped working. I mean, that's the other thing is when the
Like,
thing
hey, let's
stops
get you help,
working.
man. Let's get you help. And I forget who was standing right there. Oh, it was Doug. I was like, Doug, call 911. Call 911. Get this guy medical. We need medical for this guy. That it's not like leave him to die.
Right.
Like,
Let him die. No. Dial
Like,
911. Tell him you got it. Like,
I mean, you say something like right at the end there,
yeah.
like, yeah, you got what you deserved. Like, anything like that, man, the jury's gonna be. I'm going, hey, do you need help? You're like, hey, you're bleeding. You're bleeding. You're gonna need. I got a tourniquet. In my Jeep.
Right.
Come on, like, let us get you help, man. Stop fighting.
Let us
And
get you
actually,
help.
the weapon. God, now I can't. I'm still like, I'm like, it was a knife or a gun. Like, I'm like, hey, oh, it was a gun, because he went for the gun, and I did a drop prevent technique to him, and that's how I ended up kind of in the T or on the side of him at a 90-degree angle, and then kind of moved to the back. And I had taken him down, and he ended up on the side. And the gun was at 3 o'clock, and I was like, where? I was he was resisting. I was controlling his head, and like kind of with the other hand looking for the weapon in front of him. It's not there. Like nothing's behind him. I'm like, hey, where is it? And I kind of pushed him and rolled him. I'm like, oh, there's the gun. I'm like, okay, man, I'm taking this gun away from you. We're going to get you help. We got to get you help here. But, and then I had to, of course, like add in a joke when we're like, all right, we did all the right things here. Would you like to rent that tourniquet?
Yeah.
I have a tourniquet, but you're going to have to pay for it.
Please stay back.
Oh, but, sometimes you got to have a little humor in these dark things that,
You do, because it's
do.
heavy stuff. It's all heavy stuff that we train. Like it really is. You're talking about training for things that would mean the difference between you meeting the Almighty and going home that night. And that's what really struck me right away when we started doing this stuff. Is that I want to go home safe. I want to be able to protect my family, and if I can, it's going to be me. If somebody attacks me, that is going to be safe. And
Yep.
God, I hope I never have to use any of it, John. I really do. I mean,
Oh,
I
me
don't
either.
want to have to. But if somebody
as I
puts me
said
there,
it last night in a class, and I was like, I could see the point, because I did, the drop prevent technique, and I was like, you have a punch option here. He does have a lethal weapon. He's showing intent. I'm going to my ClearSky Defender knife, and I'm doing what it takes to go home. Because I mean, I caught myself. I'm like, ooh, I'm getting a little like real passionate, and I was like, I'm going home to my wife. That's where I'm going.
yeah.
If I had to face this,
And that's why you
type of
stabbed me in the
scenario.
leg. You've stabbed me in the leg a few times, and I was like, man, could you imagine if that was a real knife? Like that, it would have been so insane. And in your head, you're like, I just got to win this. Like if somebody's really attacking you, and it's gotten to that point, you've got to win, or you got to get the heck out.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. The mentality changes so much once you start seeing how quickly something can go wrong.
Yep, exactly. I think that's a good place to take us out on the 5 stages of violent crime. Let's see what's up next. Oh yeah, we thought we were going to do 2, try to combine these 2. We'll see. We have our training power zones and combative zones, and I think we might try to combine those 2 things, but who knows, we might get sidetracked as usual. Leo was here. He wanted to be on the podcast, but I kind of felt he needed a bath, so I sent him away. So, hey guys, support the podcast, suckless.co. You can get all our supplements and also other Suck Less apparel. We have rmsdf.com. We've got a free month if you want to come train with us. If you're here in Douglas County, Castle Rock, Parker, Larkspur, Sedalia, all those places around us, Elizabeth, Franktown. And we have people going further because they've looked for stuff and they're seeking out what we do and the difference that we have. And it's an honor to have people come in and come that far to train because they value it that much. It's a real honor. So I probably left out one of our channels, but you guys can support us at suckless.co. You can train with us, rmstf.com, and our online training portal is ClearSky.Training. All right, guys, we'll see you next week.